Hey there, welcome back. I'm here to help you relax tonight. Before we slip into the shadows, like and subscribe to uncover more stories like this. Let me know in the comments where are you listening from and what time is it there. It really brings our community together. Now, dim the lights for that cozy vibe and stick around till the end. Let's dive into the unknown. The road stretched before him like a scar across the face of God. Liam Briggs had been driving these interstates for 17 years, hauling freight from Tulsa to Denver and back again. The rhythmic thrum of diesel and rubber on asphalt, a mechanical heartbeat that never stopped, never slowed. The tinnitus had started 3 years ago, a high-pitched whine that lived in his skull like an unwanted tenant. The VA said it was service-related, compensation pending, but compensation didn't silence the ringing, didn't quiet the static that filled his head during the long stretches between loading docks and truck stops. But this wasn't the ringing. This was something else. Mile marker 89 on Highway 287, just south of Lamar, Colorado. The old Crestview Rest Area, officially closed for 8 years according to the rusted sign and chain-link fence. But Liam had stopped here 3 times in the past 2 months. Not intentionally, never intentionally. Each time, it was the bladder or the thermos running dry, or the sudden need to check the cargo straps, some mundane biological or professional imperative that pulled him off the highway and into the cracked parking lot of a place that shouldn't exist anymore. And each time he heard them, voices, overlapping, urgent, pleading. Not the tinnitus whine he'd grown accustomed to, but actual human voices, faint as smoke, desperate as drowning men and women both. Young voices, most of them, scared voices, all of them. The first time, he'd chalked it up to the ringing, to auditory hallucinations born from sleep deprivation and too many years behind the wheel. The VA had warned him about that too, about the psychological toll of isolation, the tricks the mind played when it had nothing but highway and horizon for company. The second time, he'd walk the perimeter of the rest area, past the boarded-up bathrooms and the graffiti-covered picnic tables, listening. The voices grew louder near the bathroom facilities, particularly the women's restroom on the east side. They weren't saying words he could understand, just fragments. Syllables that might have been pleading or might have been praying. When he pressed his ear against the plywood boarding up the door, the voices stopped. Silence, complete and absolute, like someone had thrown a switch. The third time, he brought a crowbar. It was early November now, the same month he'd first heard them. The air had teeth, sharp and cold, cutting through his jacket as he climbed down from the cab. The rest area looked worse than he remembered, more decayed, as if abandonment had accelerated into active decomposition. The trash cans were overflowing with wind-blown debris. The informational kiosk had been stripped of its maps and brochures, leaving only the skeletal frame. Someone had spray-painted "Stay Out" across the bathroom doors in letters 3 feet high. Good advice, usually. Liam grabbed the crowbar from behind the seat and walked toward the women's restroom. The voices started before he was halfway across the parking lot. Clearer this time, more distinct. He could pick out individual speakers now, maybe 5 or 6 different voices, all talking over each other in a symphony of distress. "Help me, please, help me. I don't want to die here. Someone, anyone, please. My name is..." The names dissolved into static before he could catch them. He stopped 10 feet from the door, crowbar hanging loose in his right hand. The voices continued, urgent and overlapping, a choir of the desperate. Liam had heard that tone before, in Fallujah and Ramadi, in the aftermath of firefights and IED strikes, the sound of people realizing they were dying and there was nothing they could do about it. "Who are you?" he called out. The voices stopped. Liam waited, counting his heartbeats, listening to the wind move through the empty parking lot. 30 seconds. 60. The silence was deeper than it should have been, the kind of quiet that pressed against your eardrums like hands cupping your skull. Then, faint as a whisper, "Help us." He approached the door. The plywood boarding it up was weathered gray, warped by years of sun and rain. The crowbar slid into the gap between board and frame with a metallic scrape. Liam leaned into it, feeling the nails start to give, the wood groaning in protest. One good heave and the board came free, clattering to the concrete with a sound like bones breaking. The doorway gaped dark as a mouth. The voices surged out, a wall of sound that drove him back a step. Not loud, but present, undeniable, filling the air with desperate pleading. Liam pulled a flashlight from his belt and stepped inside. The bathroom was standard highway construction, circa late 1990s. 6 stalls, 3 sinks, all coated in the grime of abandonment. Graffiti covered every surface, layer upon layer of tags and obscenities. The floor was littered with beer cans and fast food wrappers, evidence of teenagers using the place as a party spot before the county had finally fenced it off. But underneath the decay, underneath the vandalism, something else lingered. A smell that Liam recognized from his time overseas, copper and rot, the scent of old violence. The voices were coming from the stalls. He moved down the line, flashlight beam cutting through the darkness. First stall, empty, toilet shattered, mirror above the sink spiderwebbed with cracks. Second stall, more of the same. Third stall, someone had spray painted "She died here" on the wall in letters that dripped like blood. Fourth stall, empty. Fifth stall, the door hung crooked on broken hinges, and when Liam pushed it open, he found scratches on the inside, long gouges in the metal like someone had clawed at it trying to get out. The voices grew louder in the 6th stall. This door was intact, still locked from the inside. Liam kicked it open, the cheap lock giving way with a snap. The stall was empty, but the voices hit him like a physical force, overlapping, urgent, begging. "Please, someone help. I'm only 19. I don't want to. Tell my mother I love her. They're coming back. Oh God, they're coming back." Liam backed out of the stall, breathing hard. The tinnitus was screaming now, mixing with the voices in his head, creating a cacophony that made his vision blur. He stumbled to the sink and gripped the edge, staring at his reflection in the cracked mirror. 53 years old, face like worn leather, eyes that had seen too much and forgotten too little. The voices continued behind him, a chorus of the dead or dying or something in between. He needed to leave, should have left, should have gotten back in his truck and driven until the voices faded into the general static of his damaged hearing. But 17 years on the road had taught him something about himself, something he'd learned first in the Marines. Some men were built to walk away from trouble, and some men were built to walk toward it. Liam had never been good at walking away. He spent the next hour searching the rest area. The men's bathroom was the same as the women's, empty and vandalized, but no voices. The picnic area yielded nothing but trash and the remains of campfires. The informational kiosk was stripped bare. But near the tree line, where the rest area bordered a stand of cottonwoods, he found something. A section of fence that had been cut and poorly re-welded, the kind of modification someone made when they wanted access without being obvious about it. Beyond the fence, a dirt track led into the trees. Liam followed it, flashlight beam bouncing ahead of him. The track was well used, tire marks still visible in the hardpack despite the recent rain. After maybe 100 yards, the trees opened up into a small clearing. In the center sat a concrete structure, half buried, maybe an old septic tank or maintenance access, but modified. Someone had installed a steel door with a padlock. Fresh padlock, new hinges, recent installation. He smashed the lock with the crowbar and pulled the door open. Steps led down into darkness. The voices surged up from below, stronger now, more present, as if proximity gave them substance. Liam descended slowly, counting steps. 12 steps down, then a corridor, narrow and concrete, sloping deeper underground. The air smelled of mildew and something else. Something chemical, bleach maybe, or industrial cleaner. The smell of someone trying to erase evidence. The corridor opened into a room. It was small, maybe 12 by 12. Concrete walls and floor. A single bare bulb hanging from the ceiling, currently off. Liam's flashlight revealed a space that had been used recently and used hard. A mattress in one corner, stained dark. Chains mounted to the wall. A tripod stand in the corner, the kind used for cameras. Extension cords running along the baseboards, leading to a junction box near the door. And on the far wall, written in what looked like marker or paint, a list of names and dates. Addison Larson, 03/12/2016, Alexa Hoffman, 5/27/2016, Ava Kruger, 08/15/2016, Amelia Becker, 11/3/2016, Andrea Meyer, 2/8/2017, Aubrey Kaiser, 09/2017, Bailey Hahn, 9/3/2017, Brianna Kraft, 9/2017. The list continued, names and dates spanning 8 years. 23 names total, 23 young women. The voices screamed in Liam's head, overlapping, urgent, each one trying to tell him something, trying to make him understand. He understood. This was a kill room. Not just a kill room, something worse. Something that required cameras and tripods and electrical infrastructure. The kind of place where death was commodified, packaged, sold to the highest bidder. Snuff films, or the modern equivalent, live streams of torture and murder, exclusive content for exclusive clients with exclusive appetites, and the rest area above was the hunting ground. Liam stood in the center of the room, surrounded by ghosts, and felt something cold settle in his chest. Rage, yes, but also recognition. He'd seen rooms like this before, in different countries, under different circumstances. Human trafficking cells in Anbar province, torture chambers in Fallujah, places where evil put down roots and flourished in the dark. The names on the wall weren't just victims, they were a catalog, an inventory of merchandise, a record keeper's ledger of human suffering. 23 names, 23 voices, 23 women who had stopped at this rest area, maybe to use the bathroom, maybe to stretch their legs, and never left. Not alive anyway. He climbed back up to ground level and called it in. The highway patrol showed up 40 minutes later. 2 cruisers with lights cutting through the late afternoon gloom. Liam met them in the parking lot and showed them what he'd found. The younger trooper, a kid named Joshua Erickson, went pale when he saw the names on the wall. The older one, Sergeant Christopher Braun, radioed for backup and the state crime lab. By the time the sun touched the horizon, the rest area was crawling with law enforcement. Forensic technicians in white suits picking through the underground room with tweezers and evidence bags. Liam gave his statement 3 times. Once to the highway patrol, once to the county sheriff, and once to a stone-faced woman from the Colorado Bureau of Investigation who introduced herself as Special Agent Abigail Olson. She had questions about the voices, about what made him force open the bathroom door, about why he'd followed the track into the woods. Liam answered honestly, mostly. Yes, he'd heard voices. No, he didn't know if they were real or hallucinations related to his service-connected tinnitus. Yes, he understood how that sounded. No, he didn't care how it sounded. The names on that wall, Agent Olson said, consulting her notes. You recognize any of them? Should I? Depends. You follow the news? Not if I can help it. She showed him printouts, driver's license photos, missing person reports. Young women, ages 18 to 25, all reported missing along the Highway 287 corridor over the past 8 years. All cases still open, no leads, no bodies, no resolution. Just families waiting for calls that never came. "We've been looking for these girls for years," Olson said. "Some of these cases are mine. I know these faces, I know these families." She looked up from the printouts, eyes hard. "What I don't know is how you found them. I told you, I heard voices." "Voices don't show up on police reports, Mr. Briggs. Voices don't leave names on walls either, but here we are." Olson studied him for a long moment, weighing something behind those hard eyes. Finally, she said, "We found equipment down there. Camera gear, computer servers, satellite uplink, professional setup, expensive. The kind of infrastructure you need for live streaming high-def video to multiple clients simultaneously. You know what that means? Means they were broadcasting. Means they were selling. This wasn't random psychopathy, Mr. Briggs. This was a business. And businesses don't run themselves. Somewhere out there, someone is wondering why their premium content stopped loading. Someone is checking on their investment. And when they do, they'll come back. They'll come back." Liam looked past her, toward the trees, toward the hidden entrance to that underground hell. "Good." Olson's expression didn't change. "We're securing the site, round-the-clock surveillance. If anyone shows up, we'll grab them. You've done your part. Go home, Mr. Briggs. Let us handle it from here." But Liam didn't go home. He drove to the truck stop 10 miles south and rented a room in the attached motel, the kind of place that charged by the hour and didn't ask questions. The room smelled like cigarettes and industrial cleaner, the same smell as the kill room, and he lay on the bed staring at the ceiling, listening to the voices in his head. They were clearer now, more distinct, as if finding their prison had given them strength. He could make out fragments of sentences, pieces of stories, the accumulated testimony of 23 murdered women. Stopped for coffee, just needed coffee, seemed nice, offered to help with the tire, said he was a state trooper, showed me a badge, woke up in the dark, couldn't move, couldn't scream, filmed us, they filmed everything. Watched on computers, dozens of them, hundreds maybe. Paid to choose, paid to watch, paid to... Liam closed his eyes, but that made the voices louder, more insistent. They wanted something from him, these ghosts. Not justice. Justice was for the living, for people who still believed the system worked. What they wanted was older than justice, more primal. They wanted retribution. They wanted blood for blood, suffering for suffering, a settling of accounts that no court would ever provide. He understood that too. The CB radio in his truck crackled with the usual traffic, drivers reporting weather and speed traps, the eternal conversation of men who lived between the lines on a map. Liam listened to their voices, real voices, voices of the living, and felt the weight of the others pressing against his skull. He'd been carrying dead men's voices for years now, ghosts from Iraq and Afghanistan, men who had died under his command or beside him in firefights he'd survived and they hadn't. Adding 23 more ghosts to that collection shouldn't have mattered, but it did. These weren't soldiers, these were civilians, young women who'd trusted the wrong person, or been in the wrong place, or simply been unlucky enough to stop at mile marker 89 when the predators were hunting. At 2 a.m., he got out of bed and drove back to the rest area. The police presence was obvious. 3 cruisers in the parking lot, crime scene tape everywhere, portable lights illuminating the entrance to the underground room. But they were focused inward, on protecting the evidence, on securing the scene. They weren't watching the tree line, weren't looking for someone approaching from the highway. Liam parked a half-mile north and walked back through the cottonwoods, moving quiet like they'd taught him at Camp Lejeune a lifetime ago. The temperature had dropped below freezing, his breath steaming in the moonlight. He circled wide around the rest area, coming up on the tree line from the north, and settled into a position where he could watch both the parking lot and the hidden entrance to the kill room. And he waited. The Marines had taught him patience too, how to sit motionless for hours, watching, listening, becoming part of the landscape. The tinnitus whined in his ears, and underneath it, softer now, but still present, the voices of the dead women provided a chorus of motivation. He wasn't sure what he was waiting for, wasn't sure anyone would come. Olsen was probably right. The smart move for the killers was to abandon this location, find new hunting grounds, start fresh somewhere else. But Liam had spent enough time hunting men to know that pride and arrogance often outweighed common sense. Whoever ran this operation had invested time and money and effort into this place. They wouldn't abandon it easily. They'd want to know what went wrong, want to retrieve their equipment, maybe clean up any evidence the police might have missed. They'd come back. Just before dawn, they did. 2 vehicles approached from the south, headlights off, rolling slow and quiet up the highway. They pulled into the rest area parking lot, far from the police cruisers, and killed the engines. 4 men got out, moving with practiced efficiency, no wasted motion. They were wearing tactical gear, black cargo pants and jacket, the uniform of people who took security seriously. One of them had what looked like a rifle case. Another carried a large duffel bag. They didn't head for the kill room. Instead, they spread out, 2 moving toward the police cruisers, 2 heading toward the tree line near where Liam was hidden. He pressed himself flat against the cold ground, breathing shallow, watching them move. They were good, military good, using cover and keeping spacing. The 2 near the cruisers produced suppressed pistols and moved to firing positions. This wasn't a cleanup crew, this was a kill team. They were going to murder the cops and destroy the evidence. Liam had maybe 60 seconds before they opened fire. He rolled to his feet and moved fast, closing the distance to the nearest man before he could react. The crowbar caught him across the base of the skull with a sound like a hammer hitting wood. The man dropped, and Liam grabbed his pistol as he fell. Suppressed Glock 19, round in the chamber, good to go. The second man in the tree line spun toward the sound, bringing his own weapon up, but Liam put 2 rounds center mass before he could acquire target. The suppressed shots sounded like hand claps in the cold air, barely louder than the wind. The man went down hard. The 2 near the police cruisers reacted instantly, abandoning their positions and moving toward Liam's location with professional precision. They were calling out short, tactical phrases, using radio headsets to coordinate. Liam dropped back into the trees, using the trunks for cover. Rounds cracked past him, suppressed but still lethal, splintering bark and kicking up frozen dirt. The police were emerging from their cruisers now, alerted by the gunfire, drawing weapons and shouting into their radios. The tactical situation devolved into chaos, multiple shooters engaging multiple targets, everyone trying to identify threats in the pre-dawn darkness. Liam stayed low, moving through the trees, flanking the 2 remaining attackers. They were focused on the police now, firing controlled bursts, keeping the cops pinned behind their vehicles. Liam came up behind them and put rounds into each, aiming for the pelvis, the shots that dropped men instantly and kept them down. They fell, screaming, weapons clattering on the asphalt. The police swarmed forward, shouting commands, securing weapons, calling for ambulances and backup. It was over in less than 2 minutes. Liam dropped the pistol and stepped out of the tree line with his hands visible. A trooper almost shot him anyway, weapon-trained center mass, finger on the trigger. "On the ground! Now!" Liam complied, lacing his fingers behind his head, letting them cuff him. The adrenaline was fading now, replaced by the familiar post-firefight tremors, muscles processing the chemical cocktail of combat. He'd done this before, many times, but it never got easier, never got cleaner. Violence was always ugly, always left residue, always cost something. Agent Olson arrived 30 minutes later, while Liam was sitting in the back of a cruiser, still cuffed. She looked at the 3 dead men and the one dying from the skull fracture, and then at Liam. "You want to tell me what happened?" "They came back. I can see that. What I can't see is why you're here instead of at a motel 10 miles south. Couldn't sleep. So, you decided to take a walk in sub-freezing temperatures at 3 in the morning, and just happened to be here when 4 armed men showed up to murder police officers? Lucky timing." Olson stared at him for a long moment, then said something to the trooper. The cuffs came off. She gestured for him to follow her to her vehicle, a unmarked sedan parked away from the chaos. Once they were inside, she said, "The voices, the ones you heard, are they still talking?" Liam listened. The tinnitus was there, constant as always, but underneath it silence. The choir of the dead had stopped singing. No, they stopped when? Just now, when those men went down. Olson nodded slowly, like she'd expected that answer. "We identified 2 of the bodies from the kill room. Dental records came back an hour ago. Addison Larson and Alexa Hoffman, the first 2 names on the list. Both confirmed dead, both showing signs of extreme trauma consistent with prolonged torture. The ME says they've been dead for years, but the bodies were preserved, kept in some kind of cold storage. We found a refrigeration unit in a hidden room off the main chamber. Why keep them? We don't know. Maybe trophies. Maybe they use them for something. We're still processing the computer equipment we recovered. Encrypted, professional grade, going to take days or weeks to crack. But we found client lists, payment records, server logs. This operation had customers in 17 countries, paying customers, thousands of them. How many operators? At least 6, maybe more. The 4 men you took down tonight, plus whoever else is in the wind. We're tracking credit cards and bank accounts now, building a network map. But here's the thing, Mr. Briggs." She turned to face him fully. "This wasn't the only site. We found references to other locations, other rest areas, other kill rooms. Colorado, New Mexico, Kansas, Nebraska, all along the highway corridors. All officially closed for years, all being used for the same purpose." Liam felt something cold settle deeper in his chest. Not one hunting ground. Multiple. A franchise operation. Systematic and efficient, using America's decaying infrastructure as a cover for industrialized murder. How many victims? We don't know yet. Could be dozens, could be hundreds. We're coordinating with other states now, pulling missing person reports, cross-referencing locations. It's going to take months, maybe years, to map the full scope of this. But you'll stop them. Olson's expression hardened. We'll try. But these people have resources, Mr. Briggs, money and connections and expertise. The 4 men you killed tonight weren't random criminals. They had military training, professional equipment, operational planning. And they're just the muscle. Somewhere above them is management, the people funding this, running it, profiting from it. Those people are very good at staying hidden. Everyone leaves tracks. Maybe, but sometimes the tracks lead nowhere. Sometimes the evidence gets buried, sometimes witnesses disappear, sometimes cases go cold because the people with resources outlast the people with budgets. She looked past him, toward the rest area, toward the hole in the ground where 23 women had died for entertainment. The system has limits, Mr. Briggs. Rules and procedures and jurisdictional boundaries. We work within those limits because that's what separates us from them. But sometimes I wonder if those limits are exactly what allows people like this to operate. They know our constraints. They exploit them. So, what are you saying? I'm saying thank you for finding this place, for stopping those men, for being in the right place at the right time. She opened the door, letting in the cold pre-dawn air. And I'm saying that if you happen to hear any more voices, any more locations, I'd appreciate a phone call before you go investigating on your own. Professional courtesy. Liam understood what she wasn't saying, the message underneath the words. The system would do what it could, but it wouldn't be enough. It never was. There would be other rest areas, other kill rooms, other men in tactical gear protecting the infrastructure of industrialized murder. And the system, with its rules and procedures and jurisdictional boundaries, would always be one step behind. But Liam Briggs wasn't the system. He spent the next 3 weeks on the road, hauling his normal routes, but now he was listening. Not just to the tinnitus, not just to the CB chatter, but to the voices underneath. The ones that spoke from closed rest areas, and abandoned service plazas, and dark places along America's highways. He found them in New Mexico, at a rest stop near Tucumcari that had been shuttered for budget cuts. Found them in Kansas, at a picnic area off Highway 50 that the state had closed after a series of complaints about vagrancy. Found them in Nebraska, at a scenic overlook that had been fenced off due to safety concerns about the crumbling observation platform. Every place had a kill room. Every place had names on the walls. Every place had voices that screamed for justice that would never come. Liam called Agent Olson after each discovery. She dispatched teams, secured the evidence, started the process of identifying victims and building cases. But it wasn't enough. For every location they found, there were others, hidden in the infrastructure, protected by distance and decay, and the simple fact that no one was looking. Until now. The fourth location was in eastern Colorado, a rest area on Highway 36 that had been officially closed for 5 years. Liam found the kill room easily now. He knew what to look for, knew the signs of recent modification on old structures, knew the smell of bleach and violence that lingered in places where evil put down roots. This room had 12 names on the wall, 12 more voices joining the chorus in his head. But this time, something was different. The room was still active. The equipment was running, lights on, servers humming, cameras on tripods pointed at the mattress in the corner. And on that mattress, bound and gagged, a young woman, alive, conscious, terrified. Liam's training took over, military autopilot assessing threats and prioritizing actions. Free the victim first, secure the location second, radio for backup third. He moved to the mattress and started working on the restraints, zip ties cutting into her wrists and ankles, fresh enough that they hadn't left deep marks yet. She'd been here less than an hour. "You're safe," he said, keeping his voice level, non-threatening. "I'm getting you out." The woman tried to speak through the gag, eyes wide, shaking her head frantically, trying to warn him. Liam turned just as the blow caught him across the back of the skull. He went down hard, vision exploding into stars and darkness. Hands grabbed him, rolling him over, and through the blur he saw 2 men standing over him. One held a tire iron, still raised for another strike. The other had a pistol pointed at Liam's face. "Who the hell are you?" the man with the pistol demanded. Liam's head was ringing, the tinnitus screaming louder than ever, drowning out everything else. He tried to answer, but his mouth wasn't working right, words coming out slurred and disconnected. The man with the tire iron leaned closer. "He's the one from Colorado, the truck driver, Briggs. The cops have his name in their reports." "You've been busy," the gunman said to Liam. "Costing us a lot of money, making a lot of noise, drawing a lot of attention we don't need." He moved the pistol, aiming at Liam's kneecap. "See, the thing about our business model is discretion. We operate in the shadows, in the gaps, in the places nobody looks. And then you came along, shining lights, calling cops, ruining good locations. That's bad for business, Mr. Briggs." "So, we're going to make an example," the man with the tire iron said. "New content for our premium subscribers. Troublemaker gets what he deserves. Very popular genre. Pays triple." Liam's vision was starting to clear, the adrenaline cutting through the concussion fog. He was on his back, unarmed, outmanned, probably 30 seconds from having his kneecaps destroyed or his skull caved in. Not good odds, not survivable odds if he was honest about it. But he'd been in worse situations. The tire iron came down, aiming for his right knee. Liam rolled left, taking the blow on his thigh instead. Bone-deep pain, but nothing broken. He kicked out, catching the gunman's wrist, sending the pistol skittering across the concrete floor. Then he was moving, rolling to his feet despite the head wound, grabbing the tire iron as it came up for another swing. He twisted it free and drove it forward, catching the first man in the throat with a crunch of cartilage. The gunman was diving for his weapon, fingers closing on the grip. Liam threw the tire iron like a spear, catching him in the shoulder, spinning him around. Then Liam was on him, hands finding throat and jaw, applying pressure in the ways the Marines had taught him. The holds that cut off blood flow to the brain in seconds. The man struggled, thrashing, but Liam held on, counting in his head, waiting for the moment when resistance stopped and weight became dead weight. Both men were down, one dying from a crushed windpipe, the other unconscious and zip-tied with his own restraints. Liam freed the woman, helping her stand, guiding her toward the exit. She was in shock, shaking, unable to speak, but mobile, good enough. Outside, he sat her in his truck and gave her his phone. "Call 911. Tell them where you are. Tell them to send Agent Abigail Olson from the CBI. Can you do that?" She nodded, fingers trembling on the keypad. Liam went back down into the kill room. The man with the crushed windpipe was dead. The other was still unconscious. Liam searched him, finding a wallet, credit cards, a phone. The phone was locked, but the wallet had ID. Dylan Larson, age 34, address in Colorado Springs. Liam photographed everything with his own phone, then went to work on the computer equipment. He wasn't tech-savvy, but he knew how to follow cables and identify components. The servers were running, lights blinking, streaming data somewhere. He found the router and unplugged it, cutting the connection. Then he started bagging the hard drives, pulling them from their cases, creating a pile of evidence that no lawyer could dispute. By the time the police arrived, he'd mapped the entire setup, photographed everything, and had a rough inventory of the equipment. Agent Olson showed up an hour later, along with FBI agents and a mobile forensics lab. She looked at the rescued woman, at the unconscious operator, at the dead one, and then at Liam. "You've got a talent for this," she said. "Didn't ask for it. No one asks for talents, they just have them." She gestured to the kill room. "This is the 4th site you've found. 4 out of an estimated 20 or more scattered across 6 states. At this rate, you'll have them all mapped in a year." "Not fast enough." "No." She was quiet for a moment, watching the FBI agents work, then said, "We identified the network, the whole operation. Financial forensics traced the money through shell companies and offshore accounts, but eventually it all leads back to 3 people. 2 brothers named Christian and Jackson Erickson, and their sister, Alyssa Erickson. They inherited a trucking company from their father, built it into a logistics empire, very successful, very legitimate on the surface. But underneath, they were running this. Using their infrastructure, their network of rest areas and service plazas, their knowledge of highway traffic patterns, they turned the family business into something monstrous. Where are they now? Gone. Disappeared as soon as we started closing in. Left the country, probably somewhere with favorable extradition laws or no extradition at all. We've got warrants, international alerts, but realistically, she shrugged. They're ghosts. Rich ghosts with connections and resources. We might never find them. But you'll keep looking. Of course, that's my job. But jobs have limitations, Mr. Briggs. Bureaucracy and budgets and jurisdictional boundaries. The Ericksons understand that. They're counting on it. Liam looked past her, toward the highway, toward the endless ribbon of asphalt stretching in both directions. 17 years he'd been driving these roads, carrying freight and accumulating miles, and watching America blur past his windshield. He'd thought he understood the landscape, understood the rhythm of truck stops and way stations and highway patrol cruisers. But underneath that familiar geography, a different map existed. A network of horror hidden in plain sight. Predators using the infrastructure itself as a hunting ground. The voices, he said, they're still there, not as loud but still present. They're showing me things, locations, names, like they want me to find them. You believe in ghosts, Mr. Briggs? I believe in the dead having unfinished business. Olson nodded slowly, accepting that. If you find more locations, call me. I'll get teams to them. We'll process the evidence, identify the victims, give families closure. That's what we can do. It's not justice, not really, but it's something. What about the Ericksons? What about them? You said they're ghosts. Rich ghosts with connections. You said you might never find them. That's right. But they're still out there, still running things, still operating, just from a distance now, still profiting from murder. Probably. Olson met his eyes, something unspoken passing between them. But like I said, the system has its limitations, rules and procedures and boundaries. We work within those constraints because that's what separates us from them. And if someone worked outside those constraints, then they wouldn't be working for me. They'd be a private citizen, acting on their own initiative, pursuing their own sense of justice. And I, as a law enforcement professional, would have to disapprove of such actions. Officially, she handed him a business card. But unofficially, if that hypothetical citizen happened to gather any intelligence on the whereabouts of wanted fugitives, I'd appreciate a phone call. Professional courtesy. Liam took the card. Understood the message underneath the words, the permission she was giving without actually giving it. The system would do what it could, but it wouldn't be enough. It never was. Someone had to work outside the boundaries, outside the rules, in the same shadows where the predators lived. Someone had to hunt the hunters. Over the next 6 months, Liam Briggs became that someone. He drove his routes during the day, hauling freight and maintaining the appearance of normalcy. But at night, he listened to the voices, followed their whispers to hidden kill rooms, documented the evidence and called it in. 14 more locations, 53 more names, 53 more victims identified, families notified, cases closed. But finding the rooms wasn't enough. The Ericksons were still out there, still operating through proxies and shell companies and layers of legal protection. Olson's team had frozen their American assets, shut down their legitimate business operations, issued warrants and international alerts. But the killings continued, just in different locations now, different countries, different infrastructure. The network adapted, evolved, continued functioning despite the pressure. So Liam adapted too. He started tracking the money. Not directly, he lacked the expertise for financial forensics, but by following the pattern of movement. The Ericssons needed to communicate with their operators, needed to move funds, needed to maintain control of their network. That required infrastructure, banks and lawyers and communication systems. Every transaction left a trace. Every communication left metadata. Every movement created a pattern. And patterns could be followed. Liam spent his savings hiring a private investigator, a former FBI analyst named Noah Christensen, who'd left the Bureau over disagreements about aggressive interrogation techniques. Christensen was expensive, but he knew how to track money through shell companies and offshore accounts, knew how to monitor communication networks and identify patterns in encrypted traffic. Within 2 months, he'd mapped the Ericsson operations' new structure, identified key personnel, and narrowed their location to 3 possible countries. "They're in Costa Rica," Christensen said, spreading documents across Liam's motel room bed. Split their time between a compound in the mountains and a yacht in the marina. Very secure, very private, armed guards and surveillance systems. Not impossible to penetrate, but difficult. You'd need a team, equipment, planning. Or one person with the right training and sufficient motivation. Christensen looked at him for a long moment. "You were Marines, right? Combat deployments, decorated service, honorable discharge? 2 tours, Iraq and Afghanistan. See any direct action? Enough? Enough to do what you're thinking about doing?" Liam didn't answer. He was looking at the photographs Christensen had provided. Surveillance shots of Christian, Jackson, and Alyssa Erickson living their new lives in comfortable exile. Poolside drinks and ocean sunsets, and the kind of easy wealth that came from industrialized murder. They looked happy, relaxed, safe. "They'll never face trial," Christensen said quietly. "Costa Rica doesn't extradite for murder, and the Ericssons have paid enough bribes to ensure they never will. They're protected, secure, untouchable by any legal means. So, if someone wanted to touch them by illegal means, now would be the time. Before they get comfortable, before they establish deeper roots, before their security gets tighter. You're advising me to commit murder. I'm advising you that some problems can't be solved within the system. I spent 20 years working within the system, watching bad people walk away because we followed the rules and they didn't. Eventually, I realized the rules were the problem." He gathered up the documents. "But this is your decision, Mr. Briggs, your conscience, your risk, your consequences. I'm just providing information." Liam sat alone in the motel room after Christensen left, listening to the voices in his head. 76 now, counting the new ones from the locations he'd found in Nebraska and Kansas. 76 women asking for justice, demanding retribution, wanting someone to balance the scales. The tinnitus whined underneath their whispers, constant and eternal. A reminder that some damage never healed, some wounds stayed open forever. He thought about what Agent Olsen had said, about the system having limits, about rules and procedures being exactly what allowed people like the Ericssons to operate. He thought about the 23 names on the wall in that first kill room, about the preserved bodies in cold storage, about the live stream customers paying to watch women die. He thought about the young woman he'd rescued from the room in eastern Colorado, about how close she'd come to becoming number 13 on that particular wall, and he thought about the oath he'd taken when he joined the Marines, about protecting the innocent and defending against enemies both foreign and domestic. The Ericssons were enemies. They'd declared war on innocence itself, turned murder into commerce, made suffering profitable. They were still at war, still killing, still profiting. Someone had to stop them. Liam Briggs flew to Costa Rica 2 weeks later, carrying nothing but a small backpack and a commercial truck driver's paycheck converted to cash. He rented a car in San Jose and drove to the mountains, to the region where Christensen's intelligence placed the Erickson compound. He spent 3 days surveilling the location, mapping patrol patterns, identifying vulnerabilities, planning his approach. The compound was secure, but not military grade. The guards were private security, well paid but not particularly well trained. They relied on cameras and fences and the isolation of the location. But cameras had blind spots. Fences could be cut, and isolation worked both ways. No witnesses meant no one to hear screams. Liam went in at 3 a.m. during the dead zone when human circadian rhythms were at their lowest, when guards were most likely to be drowsy and inattentive. He cut through the fence at a blind spot in the camera coverage, moved through the compound garden using landscaping for concealment, and entered the main house through an unlocked terrace door. The security was lax because the Ericksons felt safe, protected by geography and money, and the simple fact that no one knew where they were. They'd never imagined someone like Liam Briggs, a truck driver with tinnitus and ghosts in his head, would track them to their sanctuary. He found Christian Erickson first, asleep in a bedroom on the second floor, alone. Liam woke him by pressing a knife against his throat. "Make a sound and you die right now, understand?" Christian nodded, eyes wide, suddenly very awake. "Where are the others?" "Down the hall. Jackson's room is third door. Alyssa's is fifth. Please don't." Liam hit him, a short strike to the temple that put him unconscious but not dead. Not yet. He zip-tied Christian's hands and feet, gagged him, and moved down the hall. Jackson was awake, sitting at a desk working on a laptop. He looked up as Liam entered, and for a moment confusion was evident on his face. Then recognition, understanding, fear. "You're the trucker," he said, "the one who found the rooms." "I'm the trucker." "How did you—" "Doesn't matter. Stand up. Hands on the desk." Jackson complied, moving slowly. "Listen, we can work something out. Money, information, whatever you want. We have resources, connections. You don't have to do this." "Yeah, I do." Liam zip-tied him, same procedure as his brother, then moved on to the fifth door. Alyssa was asleep, and she woke with Liam's hand over her mouth, knife visible in the dim light from the hallway. "Quiet," he said. "You scream, you die, understand?" She nodded, tears already streaming down her face. He secured her the same way, then dragged all 3 of them to the main living room. The guards hadn't noticed anything. The compound remained quiet, secure, isolated. Liam arranged the Ericksons on the floor, backs against the wall, facing him. 76 women, he said. "That's how many names I've found in your kill rooms. 76 victims, murdered for entertainment, sold to paying customers. You want to dispute that number?" None of them spoke. "I've spent 6 months tracking your network, finding your locations, identifying your victims. And I've spent every night since then listening to their voices, hearing their stories, understanding what you did to them. They want justice. I'm here to provide it. You're going to murder us," Christian said, voice steady despite the fear in his eyes. "In cold blood. That makes you a murderer too." "Probably. But I'll be a murderer who stopped 76 other murders from happening. I'll be a murderer who prevented hundreds more victims from ending up in your kill rooms. I can live with that math. The authorities know where you are. Agent Olson from the CBI has been tracking you since you fled the country. She knows you're untouchable here, that you'll never face trial, that you'll keep operating from exile. So she's not coming to arrest you. No one is. You're safe from the law. But you're not safe from me." Liam raised the knife, and the voices in his head grew louder, a chorus of the dead demanding their due. 76 women. 76 stories. 76 lives cut short for profit and entertainment. He thought about justice and retribution and the difference between murder and execution. Thought about rules and boundaries and the spaces where the system couldn't reach. Thought about the oath he'd taken, about protecting the innocent, about being the last line of defense against evil that wore human faces. The voices were screaming now, demanding, insistent. But underneath them, a different sound emerged. Not the tinnitus, not the ghosts, but his own voice, his own conscience, asking the question that mattered. What kind of man do you want to be? Liam lowered the knife. I'm not going to kill you, he said, but I'm not leaving you here either. He photographed them, bound and gagged, proof of penetration, proof that the compound wasn't as secure as they'd believed. Then he called Agent Olson, gave her the location and told her he'd have the Ericksons ready for transport when she arrived. It took 12 hours for the CBI to coordinate with Costa Rican authorities, 12 hours of Liam sitting in that living room watching the Ericksons, listening to their eventual attempts at negotiation, at bribery, at threats. He didn't respond to any of it. Just sat there, listening to the voices in his head growing quieter, more peaceful, as if they understood that justice, real justice, legal justice, was finally coming. When Olson arrived with Costa Rican federal police and extradition paperwork bought with American pressure and diplomatic negotiations, she looked at Liam and said, "You could have killed them." "Yeah? Why didn't you?" Liam thought about that for a moment, listening to the silence where the voices used to be. "Because then, I'd be like them, and the voices don't want that. They want justice, not revenge. They want the world to know what happened, to understand the scope of what these people did. Killing them would have been easy. Making them face trial, making them sit in court while victims' families testify, making them spend the rest of their lives in prison with everyone knowing what they are, that's harder, that's worse. That's justice." Olson nodded slowly. "You're a good man, Mr. Briggs." "I'm a man who heard voices and followed them. That's all. That's enough." The Ericksons were extradited to Colorado to face 76 counts of first-degree murder, along with charges of human trafficking, racketeering, and operating a continuing criminal enterprise. The trial lasted 3 months and became national news, exposing the scope of their operation, the network of kill rooms, the clients who paid to watch. The jury deliberated for 4 hours before returning guilty verdicts on all counts. Christian and Jackson Erickson received life sentences without parole. Alyssa, who cooperated with prosecutors and provided evidence against the operators and clients, received 25 years. Liam Briggs returned to trucking, hauling freight from Tulsa to Denver and back again, the same routes he'd driven for 17 years. The tinnitus was still there, constant as always, a high-pitched whine that would never fully fade. But the voices were gone, silent, at peace. Sometimes, late at night on empty stretches of a highway, he wondered if he'd really heard them, or if it had all been hallucination, auditory artifacts from service-connected tinnitus and too many years behind the wheel. But then he'd pass mile marker 89, or the rest area near Tucumcari, or any of the other locations where he'd found kill rooms and names on walls, and he'd know the voices had been real as the women they belonged to, as real as the evil that had killed them, as real as the justice that finally brought their killers to account. The road stretched before him like a promise of continuation, of endless miles and endless destinations. Liam Briggs drove through the darkness, carrying freight and memories, and the certain knowledge that some debts could only be paid by those willing to hear what others couldn't. The CB radio crackled with familiar chatter, drivers reporting weather and road conditions, the eternal conversation of men who lived between the lines on a map. Liam listened to their voices, real voices, voices of the living, and felt the weight of the dead finally lift from his shoulders. The highway went on. It always did. It always would. And somewhere in the silence between the tinnitus and the truck engine's rumble, peace settled like dust on an empty road at dawn. Here's the wrap for now, until we meet again. If this tale kept you on edge, like and share it with a friend who dares to listen, and subscribe for more eerie nights like this one. Thanks for unwinding with me. Sleep tight if you can.